good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Whatever time it is for you, Dangerlings, we are back with Danger Rico.
Hey-o.
Crikey, started that and then started coughing. Dear oh dear. That's the banana I just had. Crikey, O'Reilly. We are doing episode... Oh yeah, coffee, banana and an apple. See what happens, you know. Oh, I got too much caffeine, too much natural caffeine now. Yeah, we're doing episode 22 today. That's what we're going to do. Scary Otter and the Half-Baked Plan. With me today, I have guests. I have Ross Harmston.
Yes, you do.
I got Dan Thompson.
You have me as well, Colin.
And I got James Lockhart.
You have my voice.
Yeah. Scary Otter and the Half-Baked Plan. Is that a play on a Harry Potter reference, Dan?
It is. I can't say I've ever read that book, but I worked in a library when they were really when they were really popular, and had to check it out a lot of the time. So I know it's big. I know it's like quite big compared to the other ones. That's it. I'll be honest. I tried to watch the movies. I never got past Harry Potter and the complete liability who won't learn that he's Wizard Jesus, even though it's really, really obvious from the plot. And he probably needs to do something about this evil Mordor guy who's turning up. But you know. That was about the third film in, I think. That's as far as I got with them.
Did you get to the third film's really good? The thing is about the films is I don't know. A lot of people love them. I don't think they're that good, really, my Mr. Some of them are, there's moments, there's great. A lot of it relies on you actually having read the books. Now, the books themselves are actually very, very good, regardless of, J.K. Rowling's views. And I think we're not going to get into that because it's quite... disheartening. A lot of people grew up with these, these books and a big part of their lives, and then all of a sudden, for her to say something which offends a lot of people is so I don't know.
My favourite bits of the films. My favourite bits of the films is when Voldemort is talking to all his peeps, and he goes, "Harry Potter is dead." Spoiler, and then goes. There's this weird laugh. It's just a really when the director went, "Okay, I want you to laugh," Ralph Fiennes, and he just went, "Okay, how would Voldemort laugh?"
I think he's just going with it. He's just having fun with the character, you know. He's what am I going to... I'm a sort of weird grey seal wizard with no nose. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
That's the way I'd laugh, you know. That was a massive spoiler, by the way.
Speaking of spoilers on it, I won't spoil it, but I remember when the last book came out and somebody graffitied the ending of it over a bridge on the M1.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean,
wow.
I don't know how you feel about spoilers. Right? I still think that's a dick move.
That's
do you know what I mean?
Like a dick move.
You've
got to appreciate the effort.
It's like the Metro did it with Red Wedding.
That was the equivalent of going on social media at the time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because social media was around, but it wasn't big enough to kind of go, "Oh, I'm going to spoil this." So they just kind of, people would shout it out in the streets. They go, "Oh, Dumbledore's dead," or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like...
It's this weird human sort of fallacy that it's something like, I know something you don't know, and I want to brag about it. And you're like, but this has nothing to do with you. That you had no input in this whatsoever. You just want to spoil it for other people. I mean, I think Game of Thrones was peak that, where it's sort of literally the episode would be in the ending credits, and people would go on Facebook or social media and just try and spoil it for everyone. And it's like, some of us didn't watch it live. Could you just leave it alone? But people,
I was a big fan of the teacher who kept his class in line because he'd read the book, but. He'd read the books and so knew kind of the story to a certain point ahead of the TV show, and so whenever the kids wouldn't settle down, he'd write down the name of someone else who dies on the board.
That's a really good idea.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that's good. I love that.
That's
All right,
another
so
one. That's another one.
If you like the books, brilliant.
I thought the intro, the preamble to this episode was quite cute because we're all so excited about MCM, and then I think it's the first time we get our timelines wrong because we record in batches, and it all just completely falls apart after we've had this big long. Oh, we're so excited about MCM, and it's going to be great. It's like, this is after MCM. Oh.
Now, James, I can see what you're doing here.
Was an MCM great?
I can see what you're doing here, James. You're trying to skip something that happens in the preamble, aren't you, James? Yeah.
No?
Yeah, let's bring it up. We're not going to skip over this. By the way, we do have music from Ross Budgeon, Kevin MacLeod, and Ruben Invisible, and Sword Coast Soundscapes. I know, brilliant. Ruben Invisible.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
We have to thank everyone who came up to us at Comic-Con this year. James is still eating crisps.
Back in the days.
At the beginning of this episode, you're still eating, and we're like, "Come on, James!" It was really fun. It was really funny.
It was funny. It was for good. And it's interesting listening back to these ones because we're a lot more sort of disciplined now. And I believe there's a point where Drum admits that he squirts warm wine out of his nose because he's laughing at something we do, and it's like, wow. I'd like to think we're a little bit more professional now when we record.
James, have you got a little summary of this episode?
I could do a little summary of this episode. Yes,
go on,
if
mate.
You like. This is really, really sort of peak Danger Club, and something that becomes a feature of us later on, where we have a simple task and a simple sort of something we have to do, like, for instance, get on a boat to then sail to our next location. So all of we've completed Murder's Mark. It should be a nice farewell, sort of at the docks, and everyone's going to go. Shania has a big long moment, crying and being very Shania. Then we get on the boat, and then Fulton tries to do a Titanic bit at the front. Velda pushes him off, then Fulton gets back on the boat, and then he tries to push me off, and then a windy escape, and he falls off the boat, and then everyone just starts wailing in. And again, there's a bit of a bullying element. You all end up beating Velda, which I sort of didn't really, obviously it sounds strange, but at the time didn't really register what that was about. But it's basically the mental image of everyone just kicking the poop out of Velda on the boat, while everyone else is awkwardly standing on the dock waiting to wave goodbye to us while we're just being stupid. Which is quite a funny image, but and it has since become sort of Danger Club canon that you can't make anything simple. And then it's the journey, so the first part of the journey to Kaer Marga, and I think there's the romance between Shania and Caragor starts to get sizzling, for the first time. Very much led by Shania, really. With her, she's lots of sort of. They're playing the terrible game of. I Spy, which is great, and trying to cook a fish with Spark, which really isn't what that spell's all about. Shania uses her aspect again, which is something that sort of tails off as we move on in the adventures, but for now she's very keen on becoming otter-like. There's also, we meet the chef lady.
Now, James, I'm going to stop you because your summary is actually really detailed.
Oh, is that not what was required? Oh, I thought we were giving a summary of what happened.
Like a two sentence, hey, this is what happens in this episode.
Oh, I see. Do you want to redo that?
So no, this is Danger Recall. That's the end. Thank you very much, James. Let's call that a day.
And next week it'll be just me. I'm sorry.
No, it was really lovely. It was fine.
But you know what? Let's talk. Let's deep dive on this episode because it is really fun. It's really nice. There's some lovely bits. I'm
just going to pick up a few bits because we talked about quite a lot, so it's quite good. We big up Scotland. We big up Critical Role in the intro, which is kind of nice. We do the whole Comic-Con thing. We realise that it's been and gone. What a bunch of idiots. But it made for a really fun recording, and I love the fact that I stopped the music and then we started again. That was kind of nice. I like the sound of the docks as well that we have in this episode. That's kind of cool. I don't know who found that, but it's really nice, the sound of the docks, and it comes back again in different episodes. It's really nice. And then Scott says this thing where he says the Gilded Hands glove belongs to the Danger Club.
What? Why?
Yeah. I think what he was trying to say is the guild.
I still don't understand why he made such a big thing of that. No.
Because Scott, he loves to have a base, doesn't he? He likes he likes his team to have a base where we can all kind of go like a bat cave. And I think the idea was that we could have a base in Ilsorian. Yeah, in Ilsorian, where we could have that big warehouse, and that could be ours. And that's kind of code that didn't really make sense to any of us.
The kind of the slight clash between trying to make a podcast and trying to run a home game kind of thing came on, because we by this point had announced publicly that we were playing the Gosmith Heresy next, and that that was our next adventure. We were moving towards it, and that's what we were going to do. And then just we were about to leave town, everyone's like, what if we settled down and got property? And it's like, I mean, that's a really fun creative idea, but it really doesn't fit with what we've told our listeners we're going to do. So please don't do that.
And there's nothing else to do in this town. Like, you've done it.
We've done this town. We've got all the achievements. It's all done. It's not a particularly nice place either.
Quests.
Yeah, it's quite. You know.
I love this bit where Murgatroyd and Travis have a similar voice.
They so do. I didn't think it at the time. I was really defensive when it first happened. I listened back to it now. I was like, they're exactly the same. There is no difference.
Yeah, it's really fun. I love it. But you get thrown these things as a DM, don't you? And like all of a sudden you have to do two different voices. You're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And then he kind of rapidly pivots and becomes a sort of Christopher Walken impression that to the point that I now no longer know what Christopher Walken's actual voice sounds like because we've done impressions of him so many times on shows.
I think as a little deep dive as well, at the time, we were still meeting in pubs and gaming. Do you remember that? And I believe it was your impression, Ross. You were the first to do the sort of impression where you were doing it in the pub and we all thought it was hilarious. So I love the fact that in our record, you sort of you diverted back to this sort of the Christopher Walken voice. It was very much of that time. That was very good.
Very much.
I love this bit where we get the half orc saying, "Aren't you a bit small for a half orc?"
Yes. She was
brilliant.
massive. Like
she was 7 foot.
7 foot.
Huge. Like big lady.
Yeah.
Huge.
And then we have the Titanic moment. Fulton goes, and he goes, gig of the world. And then you jump off, don't you, Fulton?
Yeah. Well, did I get naked? I can't remember.
That's coming. That's coming.
And just a quick question on Fulton, because you were like, Velda, come and hold me. And to do that moment with Velda. Why Velda?
I think it's probably... Well, I don't know, because I don't know if I can remember if I was planning on doing the same as what you were going to do to me.
Highly
to
likely.
Velda.
Highly likely. We're in peak bullying Velda mode.
Yeah, I think so. But, I think Fulton has got a little thing for Velda. In terms of friendship, like, there's that bit where you walked away when I was talking to you and stuff.
Yes.
And which I don't know if that's now or in the future.
That was earlier, yeah. That was early on in there.
It happens multiple times.
And there's something there. Like, I think Fulton needs to crack the nut that is Velda.
Yeah, and I think with Fulton, he's one of those characters that like the kid at school who strives desperately to sort of fit in with all the cool kids and like the sort of like the leading gang, but is actually a bit of a sort of geeky outsider at heart. So can't ever quite bring himself to be completely horrible to the sort of the outsiders, and feel something of a kinship, even whilst trying to do what everyone else thinks cool.
So M hauls Fulton up out of the water, Captain America style, one-armed. Fulton then charges Velda, and Velda does Windy Escape, which is really funny.
I got all nostalgic about Windy Escape. I was
Windy Escape. I know, yeah. It's great. And then we do the whole... beating Velda.
I was wondering how you're going to phrase that. That's as good as any. The old, traditional beating Velda.
We're literally, he's on the floor and we're like stamping him, kicking him in the face. It's awful.
Really? I thought it was just I thought it was the punching him in the arm thing.
No. We literally
they probably beat the pup out of him.
Yeah,
shit.
He's like on the floor and kicking him, and M's like trying to pull the club off, and like then there's a joke about pulling off, and then we like no, and then because they made a joke, like I consciously as a character, as a player, just went, all right, fuck it, I start kicking him as well.
Yeah. It was like, wow. Actually,
we haven't even left the dock yet. We've not left the town. We're just still doing this.
Full frontal view of all of the townsfolk.
Yeah,
everyone coming on board.
I love that image though of like, it's so cool to imagine. It's kind of like Lord of the Rings, like, it's like that where Hugo Weaving's like, you are the Fellowship of the Ring, and I just imagine it's so much cooler and funnier. Like you just see a group of the guys just beating up their mate on the floor, like, and he's just like, Oh God! Why did we pick it? And that's what I imagine it to be like. Like we're like these heroes on this boat about to go do something, and then everyone's just like, "Really? These are the guys?" And I love that. I love that thing. I think it's really funny.
Yeah, I think it was has the town come to see us off? And it's like, I think they're just waiting for you to leave. Really.
Yeah. Last night was fun, but you get rid of them now. That's fine. Yeah. So we start kind of going off, and we sing "Driftwood" by Travis. I think we've already deep dived on Travis, so we're not going to do that again. Fulton then gets naked. He takes all his clothes off, and we pitch. Some people pitch tents on the boat, but there's cabins below. You know,
you don't need it. They just pitch a tent with nothing to pitch the tent in, so it kind of half collapses. Which I can tell you, Scott would be able to sleep in. As like Scott camps like a ranger when we go camping.
God,
like he turns up with the smallest tent and is fine with it. Like James and I camp like pros. We turn up like it is physically hard for us to get onto the campsite because we bring virtually our entire houses with us. But once we're there. Oh my goodness!
Magnificent
tents you can stand up in, and all that sort of stuff.
Cushions, throws. You know, so I camp like a Khajiit.
On Fulton getting naked. That's just basically me. That's just Ross just putting what he usually used to do into my RP games.
Twirling yourself
getting
around
naked
and getting it stuck in the beard.
Showing my ass, showing anything. Like I used to, not so much anymore because I'm 32 years old, but like back in the day I would, be like, look at my ass, hey! And I just used to get naked with consent.
I just like to
obviously,
point out to our listeners, Ross is currently naked.
This is true. Yeah,
Ross is always naked on these records.
It makes this leather chair very, very interesting.
You are.
So then we go downstairs. Like Velda and Em go downstairs to meet the elf maid because Em's got this idea that if he chats to the elf maid and then he, and I explain this via a carvery. Like if you go to a Toby carvery, you have to make friends with the chef.
So funny.
And we do kind of talk about it a little bit.
Toby carvery is,
but a carvery, is basically you can eat however much you want, but you only get a certain amount of meat. So the carvery is you carve, the chef's got a bit of turkey, a bit of beef and a bit of pork, and they say, what meat do you want? And you have to like make friends really quickly and get them to give you a bit of each of them, or to give you a little bit more. If you're friendly with them, then they might give you a bit more meat on your plate.
You get one Yorkshire pudding as well.
You get one Yorkshire pudding,
but you can have as many potatoes and vegetables as you like. You can keep coming back for those.
As much vegetables as you want.
I love this moment as well because it shows Colin as a player. I think you did brilliantly. You got on the system so quick and you really got your head around it. But this is probably your first real heinous error as a new player because you announced what your plan was to the DM before you went to do it.
Yeah, man.
What happened?
Yeah. You went downstairs and
it's almost like she read your mind.
Well, the thing is, I telegraphed this from miles away because it's like M's thing is he does charm offensive on everyone he meets the first thing, and I was like, okay, here's her thing is she has no time whatsoever for charmers. But she'll mistake Fulton for a child because that'll be fun. And I'm like, there's the two things she needs. She's old, she's cranky, and she won't have any time for anyone who tries to be nice to her.
And I love the fact that Shania's turned into an otter to get a fish to take down as well. Like he wants to. She wants to kind of butter up the elf maiden as well, and she hates Em. She hates him, and Shania actually. Em throws her a gold coin, and they sail away. They sing "Sail Away." Which is by Enya, but I think we've deep dived on that already, or we might do later on, who knows. She loves Fulton. She sees this naked little dwarf running around and she's like, oh, you're a good kid.
I love the fact that, because I forgot even when listening that he's naked at all times, so she's like, you're a good boy. Like he's stark bollock naked, just running around this boat.
And she doesn't want Shania's fish, so as you said earlier, James, they go upstairs and they try and cook this fish with spark, which is basically like lighting a match.
Lighter.
Well, this is, and I love this. I love this idea that because Drum has a habit of this, of like, well, this spell makes fire. It's like it's called spark. Like literally, like one of those clickety things you'd light a gas stove with. That's what I'm kind of imagining, like a little clicky spark.
A firelighter.
Yeah. It's like,
it was the same with
It's like a bit of flint.
It was the same when he'd put on his animal form thing. He did his otter form, and we're like, okay, John, can you tell us what that spell does? And he's like, well, it gives me the traits of an otter. You're like, cool,
Yeah.
which are?
Could you list the traits of an otter, please?
That is so funny because that comes up in the next episode. It's like that's his flavour of the month. That's his spell. He's like, I'm going to go into otter form.
Yes.
What otter form?
I'm going to keep doing it until it's utterly useless, and I've convinced myself that it really has no practical benefit whatsoever.
I like this. We're down eating, and the elf maiden just chucks the gold coin back in Em's soup.
that.
Like, she just drops it. Yeah,
It's such a good moment, Dan. Like, yeah, because obviously, and MZ just looks down at it, this sort of skull coin, it just sucks it and puts it in his pouch. He's like, what?
Well, that's not going to work.
Fair enough.
And then we sit down, and I love the role play of the I Spy
Just
starts.
very interestingly, is that the first time the toss a gold piece doesn't work for the people who like to do that in the Danger Club? I think it is. Because most people are like, oh, thanks very much, or go away, or here you go. And everyone's like, oh, thanks. And I think that's the first time that's actually like, no, get out
Still
of it.
works for Fulton.
I like that it never broke. Like, this brinksmanship between the two of them plays out over multiple episodes, and it never, like, Em is never rude to her, and she's never nice to him, and the two of them just hold this thing for the whole voyage.
It's great.
Love her.
I love this when we're sitting down. They play the I Spy game up on the top, and you just let it go, Dan, for a while. It's great. I think it's so funny. And then, we go down into the galley, and Velda's talking to the dwarf that we've saved. We've met these pair of brothers, and he goes, "So, how long have you been, Captain?"
Yes.
And I do, in my defence, it made me laugh again, like the boring conversation. We're actually more boring than the I Spy game up at the top. But the thing is, as a player, we were all sort of settling in, listening to this I Spy game to see where it goes. And then all of a sudden it's like, cool, we're cutting down there. What are you talking about? It's like, so nice boat. So, in my defence, but it was a really funny moment.
But
it was so funny.
It's one of those, another little subplot from the voyage that I really liked is that it's the whole thing of how the Gearites think that Velda is racist about dwarves, and he just keeps getting overheard saying completely innocent things at the wrong time.
Yeah.
And it's just it happened once just organically, and then I was like, right, from now on they are going to walk in at the wrong moment every single time.
Yeah. That's great.
I love this, that Fulton's still naked but manages to pull some ales from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dwarf, he's got ale.
Were holding on to them for him. So,
I like to think they came from his beard hidden there somewhere. Do you know what I mean?
He's like a St. Bernard. He's just got a little barrel of ale under his chin, hidden by his beard.
Yeah. So the brothers tell us about Kaer Morga, so we start finding out about where we're going to go. We find out about the tunnels. You can find anything there. It's kind of like, Las Vegas of cities in the Pathfinder world. Keep your money close, all that sort of stuff. There's a hotel that they can stay with. Don't joke with the people. They can get quite dark. And then, we talk about drunk again. Fulton and M, sorry. Yeah, and you go and get some rum from the elf maiden, and she's like, "Don't you share that with that MC." It's already like that. It's really fun.
The don't joke with the folk kind of bit it was a foreshadow for a bit we never really did. So there's loads of districts to Kaer Morga, and one of them is the Akate district, where undead are legal. Basically, undead wander around the streets and can be servants. We saw it a bit with Dark Michael and his employees. You can have zombies working for you, and basically there's an undead brothel in Kaer Morga where there are undead working at the brothel, and I was like, that's a funny thing. We'll probably end up there at some point. I'll put a little seed in there. And there's kind of, it comes up a couple of times, but kind of Barringer went there once not realising what it was and figured he'd paid his money and spent the night, and then really wished he hadn't, he thought it was a joke, and it wasn't a joke. So I was like, that'll probably come up, and it never came up.
It's really funny because it never comes up. He just comes across as a little bit creepy.
Yeah.
It's just sort of like, got to be careful with, what you do. It's like, great. That's weird.
I love the whole conversation about Shania's previous cops.
Oh, that's so good.
Like for hundreds of years, she's just been having all these partners.
She's got a code of conduct. Like, I promised that if ever cop happened again, I wouldn't get emotionally involved. It's like, what's the backstory there, Shania? What happened to this sort of line of ex-lovers?
That's really something we could play on. We could sort of do like a backstory of Shania's Cops and the day that they die. I really like that because I think we all start role playing it like, it's I've got one day from retirement. All I got to do is get.
And then I'm sailing on my yacht. It's all I ever wanted to do. I'm just going to go and sail on my.
There's a guy in the lookout and he shouts, "Hey! Do you know who did that? Hey, that was me. I did that. My own sound effects, people. I'm making my own sound effects now. I really liked that imagery. It was really good.
Yeah, definitely. And speaking of sound effects, I know you like the dock, but I really like the boat sound as well. Really nice.
Yeah.
Lovely. The sound of the water passing and the creaking and stuff like that. Loved it. Thought you did great work on that.
And thank you. There's another ship blocking the way. It's Halloween, and the little Easter egg at the end, the post-credits splash.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, did you hear that? It happened last week. There was a post-credits thing last week as well. Or was it the week before? Oh, yeah. There's in episode 20. I didn't mention this, but there was the first time that we had a post-credits thing, and I didn't write down what it was. It was just kind of like an extension of what we were saying. But yeah, the Easter egg at the end is a post-credit splash of Fulton falling in the water. I thought that was nice.
This is a good example of how GM notes don't play out the way you expect them to, because this was our Halloween episode. Because the previous 2 episodes in my notes were Amara gives them a mission and they get on the boat. I expected that all to happen in one episode and us to be like coming up to Halloween just by the time we recorded the next one. But of course, it took us that long to get to it. And then our Halloween episode ended up being all of November.
Yeah. And then we get, the next episode. As I said, a couple of episodes of Danger Recall ago. We've got a real good run of episodes here.
I've got a quick question for Dan. The Biston Bear, obviously we do explain in the episode why it's called the Biston Bear. Is that a name that's from the book, or did you come up with that yourself?
It's not even called that in my notes. I got my OneNote out and read it. It was called the Runtash Racer in my one, and it was. I've no idea why I changed the name on the fly. But no, it's not from the module or anything. It's not a pre-written one. I looked along because whenever you guys travel, I get my map out. I have a map of Galarian on my wall, and I get other maps out, and I literally will measure it out with a ruler and work out the routes that you're taking and just come up with inspirations of stuff that could happen. And you were going up the Runtash River, and you were going to go past a town called Biston, which we didn't stop at and didn't mention in the show. But I was like, it's a local one. I was like, okay, so that's the name of the ship. It's alliteration, and it's named after a local town. And that's all we kind of came up with for that one, just to give it a bit of local flavour.
Interesting. Yeah, I wonder where the Biston Bear came from, but there we are.
Well, we're going to talk about where the Biston Bear comes from.
Yeah. Because we have kind of asked you this before on a DMQs, actually, but I want to go into it deeper. But we'll wait for a few episodes to find that out, Daniel. Can I say thank you to my guests, Dan Thompson?
You are very welcome, Colin.
Rossman Harmston?
You are very welcome, Colin.
And Foxy Lockhart?
It has been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much, Dangerlings. Again, if you need us, we're there on the Discord. We're quite active. Go and find us, tweet us, Facebook, Instagram, all of that sort of malarkey. We love you, Dangerlings. Bye. Danger Recall out. Bye. The Biston Bear, the Biston Bear.
Sail away.